The Stoics, an ancient philosophical current, do not advocate the search for intellectual superiority in relation to others. Instead, they prioritize the cultivation of virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline, aiming for a meaningful life in harmony with nature. The main objective of Stoic philosophy is not to compete with others, but rather to improve oneself and find inner serenity, regardless of external circumstances. That said, I present some historical ideas that can help you develop your intelligence and wisdom. Self-analysis. Self-analysis is a fundamental pillar of Stoic philosophy, seeking to improve personal wisdom and virtue through internal reflection and self-knowledge. It involves constant introspection about our thoughts and emotions, allowing us to better understand ourselves to achieve a more virtuous and peaceful life. Internal control. Stoics maintain that the only thing we can truly control is our mind and our choices. Therefore, by examining our reactions to external events, we can learn to respond in a more calm and rational manner. Philosophical journal. Keeping a philosophical journal, in which we record our actions, thoughts, and emotions daily, helps us identify patterns and areas for improvement. Examination of conscience. Before going to sleep, the Stoics used to do an examination of conscience, reviewing their actions of the day and considering how they could have acted more virtuously. Acceptance and transformation. Self-analysis is not limited to self-criticism, it also involves acceptance. The Stoics believed that by recognizing our defects, we could begin to transform them into virtues. Detachment from the opinions of others. Self-analysis encourages letting go of the opinions of others by focusing on what is truly important to our own virtue. Historical self-analysis is an ongoing process of internal reflection that aims to promote personal growth, virtue, and serenity through self-knowledge and control over our reactions. It is a powerful tool for living a wiser, fuller life in accordance with Stoic principles. Furthermore, acceptance of ignorance plays a central role in Stoic philosophy, recognizing our limitations and seeking wisdom in humble ways. This prevents us from becoming arrogant about our knowledge, encouraging us to focus our efforts on what is within our control and to continue seeking knowledge on an ongoing basis, regardless of the opinions of others. Stoics, in their quest for harmony with nature, often turn to nature as a guide. Observing the natural order of the universe teaches us to recognize that we are a part of a greater whole, governed by laws that we do not always fully understand. Accepting our own ignorance contributes to inner peace, because when we do not fight against our limitations, we can live with greater serenity, accepting life's uncertainties. In short, the acceptance of ignorance in Stoic philosophy is a constant reminder of our intellectual humility and the need to seek wisdom while living within our limitations. It helps us make wiser decisions, remain calm in the face of uncertainty, and live according to historical principles of virtue and serenity. Accepting our ignorance is, paradoxically, a path to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Acceptance of the uncontrollable is a fundamental pillar of Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to live in harmony with reality, embracing human limitations and external circumstances. This concept can be summarized as follows: Stoics recognize that many events and circumstances are beyond our control. Acceptance of the uncontrollable involves the willingness to deal with these situations with serenity and equanimity, rather than fighting against them. Here are the main aspects related to this philosophy. Distinguish between the controllable and the uncontrollable. The Stoics teach to make a clear distinction between the things we can control, such as our actions and choices, and the things we cannot control, such as the weather, the opinions of others, and external events. Focus on the internal. They highlight that true control lies in our minds and choices. Therefore, directing our attention to our attitudes and actions is essential to finding inner peace. Accept the nature of things. Stoics believe that life is inherently uncertain and that unpredictable events will occur. Accepting this ever-changing nature of reality helps us avoid frustration and anxiety. Resilience and adaptation. Acceptance of the uncontrollable promotes emotional resilience and the ability to adapt to challenging situations. Instead of resisting adverse events, the Stoics suggest that we must learn to face them with courage and calm to find inner peace, regardless of the circumstances. This frees us from the obsessive search for results. Meditation on death. Stoics often practice meditation on death as a way of remembering the ephemerality of life and the importance of living well in the present. Indifference to the opinions of others. Accepting the uncontrollable also means being indifferent to the opinions of others. We must not allow criticism or praise from others to affect our peace of mind. The exaltation of virtue is a recurring theme in historical writings, highlighting that virtue is under our control and represents the supreme goal of life. Therefore, we should strive to be virtuous regardless of external circumstances. In short, acceptance of the uncontrollable in historical philosophy is the key to living with wisdom, serenity, and authenticity. She teaches us to embrace uncertainty, face adversity with resilience, and maintain our inner peace by focusing on what is within our reach. This philosophy invites us to live according to our principles and values, regardless of external conditions, and to find meaning and personal fulfillment. The practice of virtue is the central core of historical philosophy, guiding followers to live a life that is morally excellent and rich in meaning. This principle can be summarized as follows. Historians believe that virtue is the highest good and the path to true happiness, comprised of the cardinal virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. Virtue as supreme good. Stoics consider virtue to be the only supreme good, something that is under our direct control. All other things, such as wealth, fame, and health, are considered indifferent and secondary in comparison with virtue. Pursuit of wisdom. Virtue begins with the pursuit of wisdom. Stoics value knowledge and understanding of the world as fundamental to acting with gratitude and moral courage. Moral courage. Courage is seen as the willingness to do what is right, even in the face of fear or adversity. Stoics encourage moral courage in all areas of life. Justice and equity. Practicing justice involves acting fairly and with respect for others. Stoics believe that justice is fundamental to social and personal harmony. Self-control and temperance. Self-control is the ability to control desires and impulses, avoiding excesses and living with temperance, not being slaves to passions. Wise choice and judgment. The practice of virtue involves making choices based on wise judgments in accordance with historical ethical principles. Acceptance of nature. The Stoics teach acceptance of the natural circumstances of life, even when adverse. This does not mean passivity, but rather the pursuit of virtue, regardless of the circumstances. Cultivation of the soul. The practice of virtue is seen as a process of cultivation of the soul, a journey of self-knowledge and continuous improvement. Authenticity. Stoics emphasize the importance of living authentically, acting in accordance with your values and principles rather than giving in to social pressure or momentary desires. Happiness and serenity. The practice of virtue leads to true happiness and serenity, allowing people to live in harmony with themselves and the world. In short, in historical philosophy, the practice of virtue is the path to a meaningful and morally excellent life, shaping the way we think, act, and relate to the world. Historical scholars believe that by cultivating virtue, people can achieve deep inner peace and seek true personal fulfillment. If you liked this video, don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you and see you in the next video.